Welcome back to Jet Recaps. Let's recap a thriller science fiction movie from 2015, titled Selfless. The first scene reveals Damien Hale, a New York real estate magnate. Damien is so powerful that he can ruin the career of any competitive startup in a snap. However, time seems to be running out for him. He has been diagnosed with terminal cancer and has less than 6 months to live. His relationship with his only daughter Claire is strained, because he never had the time to bond with her. Neither is he in support of her NGO career. On his way home from a business meeting, he finds a business card in his wallet. The business card directs him to Phoenix Biogenic, where he meets a man, called Professor Albright. Albright informs him about a medical procedure that can offer him more time to live. A procedure called shedding, in which one's consciousness is transferred into a new body. At work, as Damien researches more about shedding, he suddenly collapses. Admitted to a hospital, he puts a call through to Albright, who instructs him to make his death public, as he claims there will be no going back after the transfer. And under his instructions, Damien flies to New Orleans. On his way, he puts a call through to Martin inviting him over to New Orleans for lunch. And as they are having coffee, Damien collapses again to the floor. He is then brought into Albright's lab discreetly, and the procedure commenced. When the procedure ends, Damien thinks it failed because his consciousness is still intact. But he is shocked to see his old body wheeled away, and he realizes he is occupying a new body. And his new body is that of a healthy young good-looking man. As the days go by, Damien eases into his new body as he learns how to grasp, walk, swim, etc. But he also begins to experience hallucinations which Albright claims are side effects of the procedure. And then, he prescribes medications to ease the hallucinations. Afterward, Albright helps him get a new identity, Edward Kidner, and introduces him to his new home in New Orleans. Enjoying his new life, Damien goes out one day to play basketball, and he is befriended by his neighbor, Anton. And as the day passes by, he goes on adventures with Anton while taking his pills religiously. During one of his escapades, he forgets to take his medicine. And he has hallucinations of war, a woman, and her sick child. When he tells Albright later, Albright dismisses his concerns. But accidentally reveals details of the hallucination Damien did not say. Doubling Damien's medication, he arranges for him to take a vacation in Hawaii for a change of scenery. But Damien is convinced the hallucinations are a memory. And from a landmark he saw in the hallucination, he heads to a farmhouse at St. Louis instead. He takes a tour inside the empty house, and he sees picture frames of him, the woman, and the child. The woman, Madeline, comes in a few minutes later. And she is shocked to see him, identifying him as her deceased husband, which he plays along. As he tries to calm her down, Albright's men led by Anton breaks into the house and attack them. Damien is shocked to hear that Anton is Albright's employee placed to keep an eye on him all along. And Anton reveals to his dismay that his new body truly belongs to the woman's husband, Mark. Mark had sold himself to Albright to pay for his daughter's medical bill to save her life. And when Anton says he will have to kill Madeline, Damien excuses himself to the bathroom. After he takes his medicine, he attacks and kills Anton's accomplices. And also attacks Anton, causing Anton to be accidentally burnt alive with a flamethrower. Afterward, he flees with Madeline, and after collecting Anna from school, they drive to a motel. Losing his shedding pills in the struggle earlier, he searches online for more pills. And he comes across an article of a prominent neurologist, Dr. Francis Jensen, now deceased, who invented shedding. In a video, he notices a tic Jensen shares with Albright, and he also sees Albright sitting next to Jensen. And he suspects that Jensen must have shed himself into Albright's body. As he goes through the information about Jensen's wife, he hallucinates again and collapses. The next day, he drives back to New Orleans with Madeline and Anna. And he visits Jensen's wife, Phyllis, in a nursing home. But suffering from Alzheimer's, she remembers nothing from her husband's research. However, she reveals to Damien that Albright visits her every week, bringing her favorite butterscotch candy. This confirms Damien's suspicions that Jensen is Albright. And he uses Phyllis to lure Albright to the home. When Albright arrives, Damien confronts him at gunpoint and asks him for more pills. And Damien reveals to him that the pills are meant to erase the original personalities of the bodies possessed. And he warns Damien that if he ever quit taking pills, Mark will re-emerge, and Damien's consciousness will die. However, Albright escapes when his men show up, and Damien is almost subdued. But Madeline rescues him by shooting the attacker, who happens to be Anton possessing a new body. And he reveals to Damien that he has shed several times, taunting him to tell Madeline the truth. At a stop away from Anna, Madeline then confronts Damien, asking him personal questions about them. Unable to answer her, he reveals all that had happened to her husband, Mark. Feeling sorry, he takes her and Anna to his old friend Martin, and convinces Martin to help Madeline and Anna escape to the Caribbean. While they wait, Damien uses the opportunity to fulfill one of Anna's wishes to learn how to swim. And as they are about to leave later, he and Madeline find Anna playing with Martin's son Tony. Damien is shocked because Tony had died 2 years ago. And when he confronts Martin, unaware of Shedding's secret, reveals to have used Shedding to save Tony. Thinking the body has been grown in a lab, Martin is devastated to hear the dark secret behind Shedding. He has a change of heart and reveals to Damien that he had called Albright men on them earlier, and they are on their way to capture them. Damien then decides to distract Albright's men, while Martin helps Madeline and Anna escape. Damien ends up crashing Anton's car in a chase, but the other men soon realize he is alone, and they return to Martin's house. When Damien meets up with Martin later, he discovers that Madeline and Anna have been captured. And to save them, he stops taking his pills to experience more memories, hoping they will lead him to Albright. A memory finally leads him to Albright's lab in an abandoned warehouse. But Albright captures him and attempts to shed Anton into Mark's body. Remembering that metal interferes with the shedding process, Damien takes a bullet casing in his mouth. And this interferes with the shedding process, causing the machine to malfunction and kill Anton's consciousness. But this is unknown to Albright, as Damien disguised as Anton. He then kills Albright's men and rescues Madeline and Anna. When Albright discovers that his plans had been sabotaged, he claims that Damien needs him to survive. Unknowingly to him, Martin had reverse-engineered the pills and had given Damien the formula. Not needed anymore, Damien torches him to death with a flamethrower. And he arranges for Madeline and Anna to leave the country as planned. Afterward, he visits Claire posing as her father's friend and gives her a letter that reconciles her with her father. He then travels to the Caribbean and stops taking his medicine. A few days later, the real Mark reawakens in his body. And he finds a video message of Damien thanking him for the time he had spent in his body. The movie comes to an end as Mark finally reunites happily with Madeline and Anna. If you enjoyed this recap, kindly like and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon. Do let us know what you think about the movie in the comments section below. Enjoy other movie explanations on our channel. Thanks for watching.